Hello, good evening. Welcome to A World Awakening. Oh my God. 12 days. The coming and the going, Delta. Oh, I'm not even going to talk about that. What I'm going to talk about is being in Scotland with about 30 of the most phenomenal people, one of whom joins me here tonight, but not just any one of whom. Scott and I have a truly profound connection, a brother, sisterhood, star connection. Just, when you meet him, you'll understand. I don't have to tell you a damn thing. Oh, my hair's sticking up. Oh, God. Oh. Okay, so hi, I'm back. I'm exhausted. Maria Schmidt ran us ragged and made sure that we had the most phenomenal experiences that we could possibly have. And Scott and I had experiences together. And we're walking down through Stirling, Scotland, where I was on my way to an antique shop with him and Neil Story so that I could get myself an antique sterling moon ring right here, right there, and a Celtic okay, you can't really see them, but anyway, yeah, I bought myself these two things. And then something for everybody else. And I had a wonderful, incredible time. But Scott and I were in places that I doubt either one of us ever thought that we would be. And as we're sitting outside this incredible antique store where I got the rings, I said, Scott, tell me how far back your gift goes. When was your moment of recognition? And we began to talk, and we did a deep dive so fast. There was neither of us saw the surface. I mean, it was boom, right down the rabbit hole. And we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the fact that while we were in Scotland, we had 1, 2, 3, let's count them, 4 encounters with apparently the military. And we'll talk about that some more while we're there, while we're on. But tonight I want to welcome to the show my dear friend, a wonderfully, wonderfully gifted medium. I've seen him in action. It would blow your minds wide open. He's just incredible. A deeply sensitive man with a sterling intellect. Someone who I am truly proud to call my own. I mean, I have wonderful friends, but Scott is like a star brother to me. There's a really compelling connection between us, which you will see. So without further ado, please welcome to the show, Scott Allan.
Hello, my friend. How are you?
I'm good, honey. How you doing?
I am fantastic.
You are. It feels weird not being able to hug you, grab your arm, have you help me up a hill. I mean, you were right there for me for the whole time, from Rosalind to, through the whole, to the cows. Did you see the cows come running at me?
I saw the cows. I saw your bag. I thought you were carrying a body in that thing. I offered to carry it. I was like, oh my God, I'm dragging this thing up.
I know. I learned very quickly to size down. I did.
You did. What a trip we had, though. Wasn't it amazing?
If today was it, if today was the last day of my life, I would feel like I did something so incredibly special during the course of my life that I could go to a magical, mystical land with fog and mist and tides coming in and out and a billion birds and greenery that looks like, it doesn't look real to me. I couldn't even, as tired as I was, Scott, I could not close my eyes on the bus because I didn't want to miss one vista, one snapshot of a memory to keep with me for the rest of my life. It was phenomenal in every sense of the word.
We saw every shade of green known to man. I mean, I think you actually said that, and that's how it felt. You know, those mountains that just laid out in front of you when we were up in the Highlands was just spectacular. I had no idea. I had
Loch
no
Lomond blew my mind. Loch Lomond really blew my mind. I mean,
Really?
like, how many miles are we going to drive before this lake comes to an end? And in some places, it's deeper than 1,000 feet.
Right.
You know, I would like to go to Loch Ness. We have to go back, I guess, is what I'm trying to say.
Right. Yeah, because we didn't get near there. I know a few people took a side trip, but obviously,
I mean, how many times driving down these roads, which are extraordinarily well maintained, I have to, say, but so many little lanes where there was just no way that anything but a horse and buggy would fit up one way. So we had to walk a lot. I mean, we averaged about 8 miles a day, according to the Fitbits on a few of us.
And I still came home fat. I don't know how that happened. We were uphill every step.
No, you know what the problem is? It turns to muscle. So you actually gain weight instead of lose it.
Right.
Oh my God. And it's not like we didn't eat. And another reason I have to go back is because in all the time I spent in Scotland, I didn't get a fern pie. And I need to have a fern pie.
What is
because
it?
I always ate fern pies at the Scottish Highland Games, wherever I got to go to see them in the United States. And they're phenomenal. And I just couldn't find a fern pie anywhere. And, I don't know what the deal is, if they're out of fashion or what, but, I have to find them and you can't ship them. So, they're food.
Fern pie. I've never heard of that before.
I don't even know what's in it. I don't care what's in it.
They eat haggis over there.
I know. So no, see, now I did not go near the haggis.
Neil got me to taste it. He got me to taste it. And that was enough. That was enough.
Nope.
I did it once.
Nope. Not doing it. Not doing it. Not doing it. But that's okay. I can deprive myself of the one thing that Scotland's most famous for in the food groups. But yeah, no, I don't do internal organs. I just can't. And I don't eat sheep because all I want to do is cuddle them and kiss their faces. At the last, what was it, Balgary that we were at the last?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So do you remember when we're going out to the bus and all of a sudden this herd of cows comes running? And
yes,
I went right up to them and, Stuart said to me, I've never seen them. He was at the back coming, to say goodbye. And most of us were already up on the bus. I was kind of a straggler. Oh, color me a straggler. and here come the cows. I mean, just like here comes a herd of cows right directly at me. And I was so excited. I was like, yes. Oh my God, cow face, and I've been a huge fan of cows my whole life. Huge fan. It's the cows. Here they come. I took that right after I got up on the bus, and some of them had gone away already. There had to be like 50 of them that came running right toward me as we were getting ready to leave. And Stuart, just before I got on the bus, he's like, the only time they ever do that is when I've got buckets of grain and I, hit the grain. I hit the buckets so that they can hear that it's time to eat grain. That's the only time those cows ever, I've never seen anything like that. And I'm like, I'm telling you, I have animal magnetism. He says, that explains what happened with you and my dogs. We were with a wolfhound deerhound mix, which is akin to the size of a pony. Mm-hmm. And then his smaller companion, she had to weigh at least 80, 90 pounds. And I'm down on the floor in the castle, kissing faces and sucking, like, oh my God, these dogs were all over me. I was completely covered in dog hair. And I was madly, madly in love with both of them, said a proper goodbye to both of them so that they were acknowledged as we were leaving. And that was the whole trip, Scott. And you're my Scotty from Scotland now. I mean, that's where even though I knew you before, that's where we made our most profound connection, and it was timeless, and it was ageless, and placeless. It's like we were in this one specific place experiencing Earth Castle, which I loved, and Stirling Castle and Edinburgh Castle and this castle and that castle, and one church after another, and hearing all about all of the the bloody scourges that went on, and the Campbells are hated and nobody's ever going to forget what they did, selling out to the king. And and the stories are just whirling and whirling in my head. I mean, is the same thing happened to you? I mean, just images and stories. And
incredible, isn't it? It's we can take all the pictures we want and nothing will do it justice. You can look at these things and you'll say, oh, that's nice. But if you were there, it was you just sat there with your mouth open because it was so beautiful and majestic, or quaint and immaculate.
Immaculate.
You had a very difficult time finding a garbage barrel on any street, right? I mean, like, we kept looking.
Like, don't they believe in trash bins?
But the place is immaculate.
Yeah, because everybody takes their own trash home with them and disposes of it personally. Takes personal responsibility.
Yeah, they don't just toss it.
Yep.
It was truly magical. So where are we going next time? I had a great time. We need to plan something else.
Well, Neil Story wants me to pitch a kind of a series, historical, mystical series about the witches of Great Britain.
Ooh.
And, I'm sure a bajillion people have already done it, but nobody's done it the way that we could do it. And I would love to have you be a part of that.
Oh, my God, that would be an honor.
I don't know what I'm going to do about Peanut. Peanut went into nervous breakdown mode when I got home. I mean, at least you got to talk to Nicholas on the phone every day and see each other. And, and you can't do that with the doggy. She could hear my voice, but
it's not the same.
I was gone a really, really long time. And, something that is so tender and yet heartbreaking simultaneously is the fact that after I got home, I mean, she went into complete, like, convulsive meltdown love, and was all over me. And then we settled in, we went to bed, and at about 2:30 in the morning, my first night home, I felt motion on the bed, and I opened my eyes, and there she is staring at me like, oh, it is real. She is home. It wasn't a dream. I mean, it was almost like I could hear what she was thinking. And my dog pounced me like a panther. I mean, she was just all over me, all over again, because she suddenly woke up and had the realization that it was true. I was home. And, if I go over to the UK and do a series, I don't know how fast we could pump it out, but, well, we'd just make Neil do all the research.
The guy is brilliant. He probably doesn't need to do much research at all. He is absolutely brilliant.
Yes, he is.
But the nice thing about Neil is he is as down to earth as you can possibly get. Yeah. He is just one of you. And the sense of that, that English humor. Oh my God. He is absolutely brilliant.
He's not. This man lectures at Oxford and Cambridge.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm humbled to be in his company. And, the day that we walked, that we were brave enough to walk up to the Abbey.
Right.
That had to be even higher up and more of a pitch than Edinburgh was. Maybe not. I don't know.
I don't know if it was, but it was longer. It felt like it was a longer walk.
It was.
A long walk.
It was. And we stopped at Cat's Cross, and I got some pictures of that little narrow. I don't even know where it went. I didn't even explore. But to go into that church, to have the experiences that we had inside that church, and I don't know. I've just never been so moved. And it was There was nothing religious attached to it for me. There never is.
Right.
It is, one church is just as beautiful as the next, whether it's Episcopalian or it's Protestant or it's Catholic or it's this or it's that. I don't care. If it's a beautiful church, it's a beautiful church. I don't care about the affiliation whatsoever. What I am admiring is the architecture, the stained glass, the aroma of the place, how each church has its own distinct scent.
Right.
Rosalind Chapel, hold on. Oh, my throat. How are you doing? Did you test?
Yeah.
How many people have come back positive from our trip already?
I said to Cindy, I was talking to Cindy, earlier today before we get on the air. I said, how am I the only one that I know? There's me, you. I know Neil is okay because I've spoken with him. I don't know how everybody else is getting sick and we're not, but I'm fine. I have not even a runny nose or a symptom of anything. And I've tested it. I'm completely negative. So,
well, I did for the first day or so. I grabbed as much as I could. He's so good.
Yeah.
Our producer, Bill Forte, just sent us a message. I grabbed as much as I could. Now that could be misconstrued. Bill, sending me a message like that in the middle of a show while I'm trying to have a conversation, man. Okay, laugh it up, fuzzball, because now I'm distracted by the double entendre.
Well, you both have some really incredible photos. So, do you want me just to put them up in one at a time, and you guys can go over what we're looking at?
Yeah, no, because we don't even remember where we were. I mean, I'd be so impressed if Scott remembered where we were. Let's just put them up. And we'll talk about some really weird stuff that happened.
All right. Have a great show.
Okay, thanks, babe. Bill. Okay, pictures. All right, what were we saying? Oh, yeah, that's me looking thin. I almost look thin in that picture. That's why I sent that one to him.
Now, you remember where that is, right? That's just
Is at the church, at the old church where the sedan came and spun around.
Well, the sedan spun around just before we went down into that cave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, and I don't know where that is.
All right.
Maybe that might be St. Andrews. No.
You know where I think that is?
Oh no, that's the Outlander place.
That's the Outlander. Is that Mid-Hope or one of those? I know it's that's the one with the bats. Remember the bats?
Yeah. Oh yeah, bats everywhere. I know that was
and
great.
I got stuck in the room and I had to put a hood on because I was gonna get wrapped on trying to get across the castle.
Oh yeah. Okay, this is the Abbey. This is see Neil looking over the bent sideways.
Oh, yeah,
ancient tombstones. And then he told me there were about 12 feet of bodies underneath them that they just kept burying one body after another on top of the one below as they sunk. Oh my God. Look how cute we are. And you know what? My friend Lenny gave me that awesome hippie t-shirt. Remember the tour guide guy where I looked at him when he started giving me some shit? And I said, oh, you know what? Harry Potter called and wants his glasses back.
Oh, you were talking about that guy that did the night tour. Yeah.
Yeah, our ghost tour. He was very entertaining and very sweet. And the Celtic cross just outside, that was just at the back.
Right. Before you went into that little, I don't know, I think it was a mausoleum or something.
Yeah, it was kind of a mausoleum or something. And it was, that was the last hotel, the Strathairn that we stayed at.
Yep.
So beautiful, huh?
It is so beautiful.
This, I don't remember what.
I don't remember which. I saw so many that I don't remember which one.
I know. I mean, it was like an embarrassment of riches. That's our last day.
Balgonia Castle. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah. Look how cute you are in your green. And look at those ancient weapons that are mounted. I mean, Stuart said that they could only trace the castle back 1,300 years. And I'm like, is that all?
I know.
Is that all you can trace it?
It's like recent construction, I mean, some of these places went to 500 AD.
I know. Oh, look how cute we are. Oh God, I don't.
I think you used the word huggable. That's what you call people who are pleasantly plump. With huggable.
Yes, I know. Yeah, we were. Yeah, both of us. Well, we had just eaten. You know, we were both a
There
little
you go.
puffy.
That's in the cemetery. That's
Yep,
just
that's in the cemetery in the
Yep.
mausoleum. Yep. Yep. Oh.
Okay.
Oh, look at that.
Inverary. Is it
Yeah.
Inverary or Inverary?
That was Inverary Castle.
Yeah.
And I took that shot from the bridge.
Right.
Oh, that's Bonnie Bridge.
You're
Oh my
going to
God,
the
Bonnie Bridge. We have to talk about that.
Yes. Yeah. That was something. That was a picture I threw in. That was Airth Castle.
That was Airth Castle with the sunset out the front and the full moon rising off the back.
Off the back. That's right.
Oh my God, that was magical. That was the I believe the night you did your reading.
It is. Barbara took that picture, and I think there's another one in there too. She took looking into a mirror, and you can catch it.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Nope, that wouldn't
this
be
is
it.
the one. This is the one, Annie.
Oh, is it?
Remember, we were at dinner.
Yes, that's right. Yes.
Now, if you look all the way to the end of the table, there's a black shadow off to the left.
Yes.
And I'm sitting there. You can sort of see my head. But here's what's interesting. If you look in the mirror, and it's hard to see because you can't really blow it up on here.
Yep.
I was actually sitting next to Jay on the left.
Yep.
And the shadow was behind me. I'm no longer sitting next to Jay, and the shadow is on the right behind Jay.
I know. That's so weird. Yes, I remember. Yes.
Really funky.
I know. God almighty. What a crew, huh? What a party. Look at that crew of people.
Yeah. And Rick McCallum was sitting there in the front left from the Friday the 13th.
And Mikey Thompson and Cheryl Plum and Kat Hobson and oh my God, we got Tunda and we've got Neil. You can't miss the mustache and Christine and Jay and Kathleen and on and three Kellys.
Three
Kellys. And Julie and oh my God, on and on and on. It was wonderful. What an incredible, incredible group of people we were privileged to spend that time with. Yep.
There you guys are.
Oh yeah, I love Neil. I love him. I was wearing my funky leggings that day.
Love them. Back at the cemetery. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I couldn't get. It's like I couldn't get enough shots of that Abbey. I was transfixed by the place. Just transfixed. Oh, okay, and that's
in
the fourth.
Oh no, that's the fourth. That's is that Black?
The fourth.
Is that Black Nest Castle? I think.
No, nope. That's St. Andrews.
It is St. Andrews. It is St. Andrews. Yep. You're right. Yep.
And that's the plaque that they have on the road where they buried the witch out under the sand.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Oh God, what an experience. Okay, so let's talk about Bonnie Bridge first. Okay. All right. Let me thank Bill and send him a smiley face and a heart. There we go. Oh, it doesn't make hearts in private chat. Okay. And, I'm going to remind everybody, I know there's a lot of people tuning in tonight and everybody's been sending me message. Welcome back. See you in chat. I can't see your chat. I have to go and look at it after the show. So if I don't answer you to hello, Andrea, it's hello to all of you. And Bill, if you want to put up any comments of anybody, bring them on. If anybody has any questions for Scott or myself, we'll answer them. We'll get to it. Just give us a few more minutes to reminisce because, oh my God, reminisce. I talked to Jacqueline today. I told her you have a special gift from me.
I told her I messaged her and I said I have a special gift from Andrea.
She's gonna howl. Oh, that's so great.
Can't wait.
I got something like real for her too, but I thought it would be perfect if you delivered the gag gift before I got there because I won't be up until August.
I'll have to film it when we get there.
Well, we'll be at the Ocean State Paracon together, and come hell or high water, I'm going to get her there.
When is that this year? Is that in August?
Yes, it is. It's in August. Anybody that wants to know about it, the post for it is on the Buttercup Brigade. And I'll send, I think it's the second weekend in August. I'm not sure. I'm one of these people that goes literally day to day, week to week. If it's written on my calendar, then, I meet the obligation, but I don't, I'm not really good at the whole planning ahead thing. I'm so busy doing what I'm doing that I don't, it's like, okay, it's the, what's her name? Vivian Lee, Tara, Gone with the Wind. What's her name?
I don't know. I'm not that old. I don't know. No, I don't know. That's it. Show's over. Done. No.
Okay. No. Okay. Okay. Somebody put it up on the screen. Oh my God, my brain. See, I have brain fog. Yeah, but anyway, when she says the line, I'll think about that tomorrow. Of course, you've never seen Gone with the Wind. You wouldn't know. Margaret Mitchell wrote the book. Oh my God, Scott. Yeah, apparently you're too young. But anyway, her attitude was always, I'll think about that tomorrow. I'll deal with that. Vivian. No, I know it's Vivian Lee. Who's the character she plays in the movie? Scarlett O'Hara. Thank you, Kristen.
I knew that, Kristen.
Oh, my God. You guys are so fun. Thank you. Scarlett. Yes, I'll think about that tomorrow. Yeah, so that's kind of how I live my life. It's just how I live my life. So anyway, let's talk about Bonnie Bridge, because on the way to Bonnie Bridge, which was not that far from where we were staying, I was surprised it wasn't that bit of a hike. We get told on the way there that is the number one location in Scotland for people to encounter UFOs.
Right.
And so the thing that I found so interesting, I did my little bit of a talk before and answered some questions and opened some third eyes and got people as prepared as I could, even though they were like all over the place when we got there, like, the welcoming committee. And then something very interesting happened. And you got either a text or a phone call from someone who I believe had no idea where you were.
It was Nicholas, my son. It was my son, Nicholas.
Your son. Oh, my God. And he said, look up over the cows.
Well, he said to me, what are you doing today? And I said, we're on a bridge and we're looking for UFOs. And I said, but we don't know if they're going to show up. We're just looking. He said, well, just look for the cows. And we turned and there they were.
There they were. And then we just looked up and there they were.
There they were.
Yep. Magical.
Photos. Just magical.
It was magical. And then come in within a few minutes, 3 Black Hawk helicopters, military grade helicopters, came right directly over us. And you looked at me and I looked at you and we're like, oh my God. And then how many people came up and like, what's that about? Exactly. And
it was like they were following our bus because they were around everywhere, that
everywhere.
And that was following us. And then
and then they appeared again 2 days later, and then like another 2 days later. And then when we were up at the chapel on the hill where the Glen is and the fairies and the elves and everything,
right.
All the mystical creatures that are known for that area. Here comes a black polished SUV that looks like it's just been driven off a parking lot with a guy in a black military uniform inside who comes flying up a lane this wide, like a bat out of hell, does a U-turn in the church parking lot, and then blows out of there just as fast as he showed up. And I don't know if it was you or somebody else that turned to me and said, what the hell was that about? And I said, intimidation tactics.
I don't understand it. There's no reason anyone should have been out there. This was such a remote area.
So remote.
cornfields.
Yep.
And the road is so narrow, you could almost touch either side if you put your hands out. And it just like you appeared out of nowhere. Came up, spun around the parking lot, and right back out he went. Just intimidation.
Yep, that's all it was. And well, at first I thought, my gut kind of tells me things, but at first I thought, no way, over Bonnie Bridge. Maybe that's just two military installations that are close enough that they didn't have to gain a great deal of altitude to get from point A to point B. However, after the second time it happened, and then the third, and then the fourth, and we were only there for 10 days. I think it was abundantly obvious that we were being watched. And somebody asked me about it, Scotty, and they said, do you think you're being followed? And I said, well, I have been in the past. I will say that. But not necessarily. I told them what I thought was probably going on is that where I am, it usually stirs up a lot of activity. And if it was stuff that was picked up on radar, then they were probably out there to investigate what was above us, not us. And I don't know if anybody's put, one and one together that, no matter where I am, there they are. But I didn't feel targeted. I didn't. I felt like maybe our group was being observed, but I don't think specifically because of me. But I do think it was because there was a great deal. I mean, Scott, we probably got 1,000 photographs between the group of light anomalies in the skies, and not just over Bonnie Bridge, numerous places. Did you see the film footage that Mikey Thompson got?
No, I never did. I need.
Oh my God. It's some of the best I've ever seen.
Really?
Yeah. And it was right over Inverary, right over the mountains off the front of the stagecoach.
They were out at night. Well, I don't know if you were out. I think I was. So
I'm always out at night.
Yep.
It was amazing. And then Neil Story had an incident in his bedroom with Kathleen and Christine. And that probably didn't sound any better than I grabbed as much as I could.
No, it sounds kind of exciting, actually.
But it was entirely innocent.
It was.
And they connected with a spirit that apparently was an underling of one of the managers at the Stagecoach well over 100 years ago. Right. And they were asking her questions, and she was moving. Did you hear it at breakfast the next morning about the glass moving and things flying off of the desk and, just stuff going? When they asked her something about that, what they determined was that she'd been murdered by her boyfriend, who was also her boss, because she was pregnant. Yeah. And when they suggested that perhaps she was pregnant is when the glass went flying across the room. I mean, we got a lot of evidence. We got so much evidence everywhere we went. I was not disappointed in any way. And by the way, your reading for the group at Earth Castle was absolutely magical. And, I started telling people at the beginning of the show, introducing you about how we had talked in Sterling. And I know that Bill has some audio that's loaded from 2 different EVP sessions, I believe. Is that what he's got?
Those are the ones that, no, that is nothing to do with our trip at all.
No, I know that.
Oh.
But I'm trying to focus back on when you were telling me about when you discovered, like what age you were and how it happened for you and all of that. And that's when you told me about David. So I thought perhaps you might like to share some of that story with the audience, and then Bill can play the EVPs.
Yeah. This was an interesting story, how this whole thing opened up. And I've told you that I was a funeral director for almost 40 years. It'll be 40 years next month. And I never had an inkling of anything. There was never a message. There was never a sign that maybe something was different. I did have and I think I may have told you this. I had there was a moment, it was just before Mother's Day in 1995. And I was driving down this road in Worcester County in Massachusetts. It was kind of a remote road. And this ship came right over the highway. Did I tell you this story? I know I told Neil. And it was quiet. There was not a sound. Yeah. I had my window down. And it was as if it just kind of floated. And it was long enough to fill the entire width of a 2-lane highway and then some. And it just kept going. And I flashed my lights to see if anybody was in the car in front of me would stop, and they didn't. I didn't tell anybody that story for years until someone told me that they had had another experience, and then we would be able to share. Through the years after that, I started to notice synchronicities. And it was things like, geez, I haven't thought about Mary Smith today, or I wonder what happened. I haven't thought about her in a while. And then, the next day I get a call that she's passed away, to the point where people said, don't think about me. Just forget about me when you're not around. And that stuff started to happen. But still, nothing. Until a few years ago, I was doing some paranormal investigating. And I was a newbie. I wasn't really new at this, but I wanted to have a spirit portal. I had the spirit box, and I wanted to get the amplifier and the noise gate and the reverb and that kind of thing. So I ordered all the pieces. They came in. I'm at home. I put it together and I turned it on. And the first thing that came out of that box was, I want to talk to Scott. And I think that's the first thing that he has. I'll give you a little bit more of the story. I want to talk to Scott. And I said, who is this? I'm Scott. And he said, I'm David. And I actually had it on recording. I was able to record that. And then the next Friday night, one of the women that worked for me texted me and said, some guy just came in looking for you. He said that he asked for you. I told him you weren't working. He said, okay, tell him David stopped by. Now, I thought it was, I wasn't putting it together with the other thing, but I said, the only David I know is a maintenance man for the landlord where I was operating. Called him, wasn't him. I looked at him on camera, never saw the guy before, and he never came back and he never called again. Mm-hmm. And then after that, we were on investigations, and that's another thing you'll hear on there is this woman saying, David's back. David's back.
And her voice sounds remarkably like mine.
You think so?
I do. At first I was like, whoa. And when I hear it again, I'll see. Maybe, I don't know. It could have just, been me for a moment, but
it happened over and over and over to the point where I started to get a little creeped out. We were at the S.K. Pierce Mansion in Gardner, Massachusetts. We were there
I love that place. Oh,
God, it's fabulous. It's fabulous.
Yeah.
We were there for a pendulum and dowsing class. It was the middle of the afternoon. Mm-hmm. And it was the first time that I really, truly felt like I knew something was there. I could feel it move around me, come around the side. And then we saw something come across the ceiling and disappear under the chandelier. And I pulled out my recorder and I said, did we just see you? And you could hear it say yes. And I think he's got that as well. And then shortly after that, there was a group. I know you know who they are. It's the Grit Boys from Rhode Island. And they were in Cumberland doing an investigation, and they had their spirit box line. I was home. I saw they happened to be live, and I tuned in. And you can hear plain as day, is Scott there? And Reed said, no, he's not here with us tonight. Who's this? This is David. And I got so nervous because I thought I had an attachment or something, or I was losing my mind. You know what I mean? Although, I figured if I'm recording these things and other people can hear it,
right,
then I mustn't be completely crazy. But it was a nerve-wracking time going through that. So I don't know if Bill wants to play that. All those little pieces are together in that little video.
Yeah, he will. He's got it loaded.
Yeah.
Put it up.
I'm Scott. I'm Scott. What is your name? I'm Scott. Huh? Can you tell me your name?
It's Beth.
Did we see you?
Yeah, the yes sounded like my voice to me.
Oh, yeah, but that was at the SK Pierce. Unless you were there, maybe you were hiding.
No, I wasn't. But you know what? We know nothing compared with what there is to know and what our connections are and how we can be in multiple places at one time. And, I had a spirit box session where Bathsheba came through and she was throwing my voice. And my friend George said, absolutely not. You have to talk in your own voice or we can't do this session.
Yeah. I'll tell you, it's a funny story. Julie and I and Cindy had gone, and Tina had gone to the Shanley Hotel. We were getting nothing, absolutely nothing. And so Julie said, I'm driving back tomorrow. I'm going to bed. We went up to the third floor and you could audibly hear with your ear this phone ringing. There was no phone up there at all. It was just empty. And Cindy said, who's calling? Who's calling? Or who are you trying to call? And you can hear the voice say, this is Julie. And it is Julie's voice. I had never seen that before. It was, I couldn't believe it. I have that on recording. I sent it to her and she said, wow, that's really just creepy because
that's disturbing.
It's
when
disturbing.
Stuff like that happens.
Disturbing.
Well, because we have no comprehension of it. It's, that's one of the things that I think is so important about what we do is that whenever, this show is called World Awakening, and I try to bring on a very eclectic mix of people that work in this field and have all different gifts, different perspectives, so that people will think about the experiences that you and I or any of my other guests would share on the show. If we succeed only in making them think about what we're discussing, that expands human consciousness, that enriches the human experience. And so it's my humble little offering every Friday night to whomever is attracted to this type of subject matter. Because as you well know, and that we spoke about, our frustrations with each other about how gradual this awakening process is, how slow and, one baby step at a time. And we're not getting there fast enough to, save ourselves from ourselves. It's like, both of us shared the same kind of frustrations. Because we want to be able to snap our fingers and say, everybody wake up. That's it. Okay, done. And that's just not how it works. The process is a slow, laborious, arduous process. And everybody's on a different timeline. And all of them are arbitrary. So, it is what it is. But when you make a connection that like we've made.
Yeah.
And, I know we're going to be working at the farm together. I know we're going to travel together. We're going to produce things together. We're going, sometimes you just meet someone where you're like, yeah, I know. Yes, I know. I can hear the universe saying that's going to happen right here.
I told you, I felt like we'd known each other for 20 years. And it's so funny because I met you really just very briefly. It was Ocean State Paracon, actually. Yeah. That's where it was. I had bought your book and
I signed it all pretty for you.
signed it all pretty. And that was really funny last night too, because I was moving some things around and I had the book. I knew where it was, but I was flipping through it and I remembered you had written. And I sent that to you. I texted it to you last night.
You did.
And it said something to the effect of, may spirit guide you along your path of universal enlightenment. And boy, did it do a good job. It lined me up. It put me right
Yeah.
which is just, I think is phenomenal, really and truly. Really and truly. It's been great. It's just been
It
great.
has, and really it's just the beginning of our journey to an unknown destination that only the universe knows. It's just marvelous. When I think about it, when I think about being able to work with you, film with you, to have your gifts, your perspective, your intuitive and you're an empath, you're like super overcharged, sensitive to everything. You are an experienced investigator, but you're also a seeker and a seer. You're really like, you're the whole package, Scott. You're the whole 9 yards.
I appreciate that, and it's, and I said to you, it's an honor to work with you. Do you think lower astral energies could be coming through the EVPs to manipulate or distort?
That's a great question. I don't know what to think. I'll be the first one to say, I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know either. We've gotten kids, kids, and I don't know if they're really kids. Are they disguising themselves as children because they want us to talk to them, and it lets your guards down? I don't know. You know what I mean? There's all kinds of theories, but I have no idea.
I know, and that's it's one of the things that I've repeated ad nauseum, but that bears repeating, is that there are no experts in this field. We're all, searching for answers that we will probably never find on this plane of action. But it is that fascination, that curiosity, that is the jet fuel for, the engine of our minds and where we go and how we expand and how we think about our reality. Because, most of the people that wander this planet think that, their reality is this big, and, it's all here. It's all wrapped up in this one little 3D 5 sensory plane of action. And actually it is infinite. And so I don't know what to think. When I heard on that EVP, when I heard yes, that sounded like my voice to me. I don't know if it was, or if it was somebody throwing my voice, or what that could be. I don't know if that was spirit or it was extraterrestrial in nature. I tend to think more extraterrestrial, because it was your first encounter with a vessel that seemed to unlock that part of you, those sensory perceptions. And also the fact that a David walked in to your establishment, identified as David, and walked out. Most ghostly apparitions don't do that.
Right.
It's not that they can't, but they have to have an infusion of so much energy to do it. I've seen full body apparitions. I have. The day we moved into the farm, I saw a man who looked like flesh and blood to me, and my sister Nancy saw him evaporate into thin air. So that, but I don't know what it is and what it was. And, maybe David is one of your guides. Maybe David is.
I think so. I'll tell you an interesting story. I don't think I told you this when we were in England. I have a woman that parks near me where I live, and we talk all the time. We would just chat,
Mm-hmm.
My mother called me up and said, "You're not going to believe this. There was a medium at the senior center, and she was great," and this kind of thing. Well, comes to find out, it was her. So it's like all this fortuitous stuff. So she's, oh my God, we should have coffee. We should have coffee. So I went and visited her, and we did. We had coffee. And while she's there, she looks at me and she says, you're one of 3 children. Who's one of 3? I said, nobody. My mother was one of 2. I only have one brother. My father was one of like 9. It was crazy. And she says, no, I think you were one of 2, one of 3.
Yep, you did tell me this. Amazing.
Did I tell you that? And
well, you have to now you have to tell everybody else that's watching.
I said, I don't think so. She says, did your mom ever lose a baby? I said, I don't think so. She's an open book. I really think if she had, I would have known it growing up. But she says, no, I'm getting it. Like there's a name, and she's counting on her finger. She says, who's the D name? David. Who's David? Well, I must have turned 3 shades of white, and I told her the story, and she says, I really believe that David is your brother from back then. And, he's hanging out, waiting for you. He knew you'd be able to talk to him and see him. And he's kind of like a spirit guide. He's with you all the time. And I thought, this is just loony. I'm not going to ask my mother, but of course I did, because I had to know, right? Curiosity got to me. Yeah. And she said, yeah, I did, about 9 or 10 months before you were born. And so there it is. There's so much we will never, ever know. And
no, I don't think we'll know on this plane of action.
On this plane, there's so much we will never know. And I think, so I worked with a shaman when I was learning to develop and hone some of these abilities, because when you first realize you have it, it's all on all the time. It's like they're sitting on your head. Even if you can't see them, you can see things objectively or subjectively. Objectively is like outside the body. Most of us don't see that. It's sort of like in your mind's eye, but it's heavy and you can feel it. So she helped me shut that off, set up some boundaries, push them away. And I have no idea where I was going with that. So she helped me, but the whole thing with, I know what it was. I now am able to turn it on and turn it off, but I still am skeptical myself. I always question, is it real? Is it me? And I sat there at Aerith Castle for a half hour before I did the event. And I had been saying for a day anyway, guys, come on, don't let me down, my spirit team. You got to come and help me out, show up here and be with me, and come gather the friends and family of everyone that was here today. And they always do. They always do. But leading up to it, I always think, I hope that they're not going to let me down tonight. Because, if I were going to paint you a picture, and it might not be a nice picture, I could go to the store and get a canvas and some paint and a brush, and I could paint you a picture. But this is so different. It's so different. Mm-hmm. You're relying on them. You just have to open yourself up and say, okay.
But you see, my darling, you're the conduit.
That's what it is.
And they know that. And I used to be the same way, when it was dealing with spirit, or particularly with the galactic family. I was so anxious. I wanted everybody to have a wonderful experience. I always forewarn the group, if there's anybody that's afraid to participate in this, please don't, because you'll have your time. But if it's not now, it will depress other activity around, because the last thing they want to do is frighten anyone. But you will get to the point that I'm at now, where you will not feel the need to ask, because integration will have occurred. I know, no matter where I go, there they are, no matter where I go. And I feel utterly surrounded all of the time. And I know that I am. I have multiple sightings every day, every night. There, I see what's going on out there, and it would blow most people's minds if they saw the kind of activity that I do. I have a hell of a time reading a freaking menu right in front of my face, but I can see into the outer stratosphere. My eyes are just so different. Right. Even my optometrist is like, I've never seen eyes like this. I've never, this kind of equation, and the numbers, and it's just so weird. I'm like 100, 200 in one eye, and I mean, how can that be? And yet I see perfectly. I don't need glasses, but my eyes are like bizarre. And that has helped me to be able to see, to be able to know what I do and have had the experiences that I've had, has brought me to a point where there's no lack of self-confidence at all.
Yeah.
Because I know what I know. And if the people that are with me are supposed to have the experiences, they will. They're still making contact, whether they know it or not, because the galactic family knows who they are. And so they can very well, not see anything that particular day or that particular event. And then I'll get, a cosmic call a week or two later. Oh my God, Andrea. Oh my God. And it happens over and over and over again. So I'm just to the point where I open, and whatever happens. And I just let myself be the conduit. That's it.
Yeah.
And you'll get there too. You will absolutely get there.
It's true. And I've learned this is happening, is that I know what it feels like when I get the information. Mm-hmm. We made some great contacts at Earth Castle. I mean, we were able to really know a lot of people, but sometimes people don't understand the connection. Mikey made there was a woman that came through from Mikey.
Yes.
But he almost missed it because he wasn't thinking that it would be for him, because it was a work connection and not, a family connection.
Right.
And I know that I'm getting that. And that woman, when you were up there and you were talking the day before, right, you gave a little bit of a program, and she was there then. Mm-hmm. So she was hanging around. She wanted to be
with us.
Yeah. And he almost missed it. But that's happened to me so many times. Is they'll call back a week, a day, whatever it is, and say, "Oh my God, it finally made sense." And yes, folks, animals do go to heaven because they come through all the time.
All the time. Yep. I know. Anybody that tells me that animals don't have souls, it's kind of end of discussion. You know what I mean?
I don't believe it at all.
Because, I look in their eyes. I see, don't think that those cows that came terracing across that open field directly at me didn't recognize me on some level and want to make contact.
Yeah.
And I looked into their eyes, and, through the fence, I couldn't put my face in barbed wire, nor did I want them to do that. So it was, touching through, but it was magical. It was just, and dairy cows too, so
dairy cows, yeah.
There's just something so sweet about them, and so gentle and so lovely and so godlike. They're just sacred, treasured creatures to me.
Right.
And all the sheep that we saw, how many sheep did we see in the Scottish Islands?
Everywhere.
They were so beautiful, and they shear them and they make these gorgeous sweaters. And while I was over there, and I don't remember where I was, I don't remember where we were, what town, but I saw this magnificent shawl, huge full-length shawl.
Wow.
In a store window, in all my colors, the lavender and the purple and the deep blue and and all with Celtic symbols woven all through the shawl. And I just stopped. I was like, oh my God, I don't think I've ever seen anything that beautiful before. And I had Mikey and Cheryl with me as we were walking along. It was after we'd come out of the second jail. I think it was Edinburgh Castle, maybe. But anyway, jails and more castles. And, after a point, it's like, just write it down on an itinerary. I can't even keep this straight anymore. But anyway, they said, well, let's go in. And I bought a couple of postcards and
Yeah.
I looked at the shawl and I knew it. It was wool. It was handmade. It was freaking gorgeous. And it was in American money about $160. And I was like, nope, not doing it. I just will not spend that kind of money on myself. I just wouldn't if it was for somebody else. It was too big and too heavy for my mother. So it was just out of the question. Plus, I had already bought like half of Scotland for her birthday, every book I could get my hands on. And so I thanked the shopkeep and we left. And when we got back to Earth that night, Mikey comes walking into the restaurant area with me, kind of pulls me aside, and he says to me, Annie, we love you, right? We love you. Well, it was the kind of statement where I thought there's going to be a but.
Yeah.
But you're too loud. You laugh too loud. You talk about politics too much. You this, that. I'm like, here it comes. Here it comes. Here it comes. I know it's coming. There's a big but attached to this. And there wasn't.
No.
And they handed me a large white bag that had that shawl.
Come on.
And apparently took up a collection, and a number of people who they will not disclose pitched in to buy that shawl for me. I started to ugly cry. I mean, I ugly cried like when Maria walked in. She's like, oh my God, is your father okay? Is Peanut okay? Is your mom okay? Oh my God. I'm like, no, these are happy tears. They just look horrible, but they're happy tears. I was so touched to my core.
Oh my God.
That someone would do that for me. It will make its great premiere in the States at the Upper Peninsula, Michigan Paracon, because that's the only place I'm going between now and the fall where it could be chilly enough in August to need it.
That's in August.
I'll be wearing it while I'm out calling the galactic family.
There you go. That's awesome. Well, that's right. I'm going to be there. What am I talking about? That's in August. I'm going to be there. That's what
I know.
Yes, I am.
You'll get to see it. I might even let you touch it.
Ooh, we are talking about the shawl, right? Because
right.
we're all talking about this double entendre.
No, I'm not like Bill. I mean, I don't leave messages. I just say them right out loud. I mean, although let's admit that Neil Story is the king of inappropriate comments.
Oh, yes.
Oh, my God. I mean, I couldn't, if I tried, I couldn't keep up.
No, and I'll tell you, I'm sure this is a family-friendly show, so we can't even share.
Not really. You can pretty much say anything you fucking want on my show.
There you go. Oh, my God. So the day I met Neil, actually it was the day after. It was morning. We had breakfast over at that restaurant, and he was trying to get me to try the haggis, and he had gotten it. And I was like, oh, this is not going to be good, because I just, none of it. It's just the whole thought of it is disgusting.
The thought of it is repulsive. Yeah.
Repulsive. But I tried it. I took a little bit. It didn't taste like, innards and outers and stomachs. It didn't taste like what it just tasted like sausage. But I tried it. I'll never try it again. And then he proclaimed to the waitress and everyone else at the table that he had popped my haggis cherry. I popped your haggis cherry.
Really nice.
Yeah, he's a great guy. For a guy that's so smart, he's so easygoing.
He's so down to earth. He's so funny.
And what about that story of the demon witch stick from Bonnie Braden?
He had all of us hanging on every word right till the last sentence.
And it came out just like that. It's all up there in the head. I don't know how he does it.
It's, oh my God. Well, he wants to do a thing about the witches, and
yeah,
because of Bathsheba, and what a raw deal I feel like she got in life and afterlife, and then a movie, and all the things that have been said about her over the ages, and I am her great defender. And I believe that she was falsely accused because had there been any evidence at all that she had taken the life of an infant or was practicing witchcraft, she would not be buried in hallowed ground in the middle of Harrisville, Rhode Island.
No.
She would not. It's just not how things were done back there. I mean, even if you didn't live a pure and moral life, there are people that are buried outside of the walls of cemeteries up there. They're still part of the family that's in it, but for some reason they're buried outside the wall, including Sumner Walling, up at the Chase Cemetery, which I'll take you up to see right past the farm. And he had an attachment. The Wallings had an attachment to the farm too. We just don't know what it was. I mean, we only know a little of the history of that place. Nobody had Facebook. They weren't posting, day by day what they were doing, who they were marrying, who they were dating, who they were, but piece by piece over time, we keep finding, like little puzzle pieces will fall out of the ether and fall right into place. And we'll never know it all, but I'm never going to stop defending Bathsheba because I think she was falsely accused of witchcraft, practicing witchcraft. I think that there's no proof anywhere that she murdered the baby that was in her care. And I think that nobody should accuse somebody of murder unless they've got some forensic evidence, some really serious evidence to back up their claim.
But, back then, because what year is she? I mean, what year would she have been?
She was born in 1812 and she died in 1885.
So she really wasn't around when the whole witch thing was going on.
No.
Yeah.
No, if she had lived 100 years earlier, that accusation could have cost her life.
I know. But, we've never been kind to people who are different, and we learned in Scotland they were worse than here. I mean.
What was it? Blackness? What was Black? You know what I'm talking about? The castle where we went to?
Yeah.
Where there was the EVP that came through, no women allowed.
No women allowed, yeah.
Yeah, and so we all kind of blew out of there, and I went down and talked to the big strapping Scotsman dressed in his medieval garb. He was awesome. Ewan.
Yeah.
Ewan.
And I insulted him by accident.
Nice, Scott, really?
Well, I walked around and I said, "Oh, you're wearing your kilt." It wasn't a kilt. It was a coat.
No.
I had said kilt. He says, "Well, that's an insult because the kilt's very short. You could have a short kilt or a long kilt, and it's all dependent upon, the size of what you're trying to cover up." So, therefore, he said if he did have a kilt, it would have been a very long kilt, not a very short kilt. Yeah, I actually had that.
And having met him, I would probably, that would be my assessment. Yeah.
Yeah.
Big strapping Scot, red hair, green eyes, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah.
Yep, that was amazing. But one of the things, I had to leave that place. I ended up having to go over to the gift shop and hang out there for a while and get away from that castle. It was really a fortress, but it was also one of the places where the women accused of witchcraft were brought and chained in the cellar in the part of the fortress where those held captive, and it wasn't just women, it was men too, were chained to the walls and drowned slowly as the tide came in.
They would just let them be and they would slowly drown. Or throw them into a hole and walk away and just no food, no water. They just would just die. You were just forgotten.
The thing about Scotland that I found most shocking, I found most stunning the beauty of it, I found most shocking the barbarism, the brutality. It's like these people, over the course of time, figured out every conceivable way to torture and kill. And the torture seemed to be an integral part of the killing, and way too many of them seemed to take an inordinate amount of pleasure in what they were doing to other human beings. And it's so brutal, so barbaric, so absolutely uncivilized, so hateful and hard-hearted, and no acknowledgement that the person or persons that they were brutalizing were human beings. I just can't. And talk about having memories. The Campbell clan. Remember when we were at the castle where that was the Campbell Castle, and he had sold out to the king. His allegiance, Campbell was his allegiance was to the king.
Yeah.
And that was like 1,200 years ago. And Neil, we were talking about it. Neil was, recounting the history of the Campbell clan and what they did, inviting another rival clan in, and let's eat, drink, and be merry. And then right at the crack of dawn, we will kill you all. Right. And they didn't know. They were all sleeping and drunk, and their heads are being chopped off while they're sleeping. Men, women, children.
Didn't matter.
It's grotesque. The history of the unbridled cruelty and brutality of the Scots and the English, the British, and the Irish and the Welsh, and the fighting and it was just monstrous. And it went on, century after century after century, upwards to, it is assessed that upwards to 10 to 12 million, predominantly women, some men, but predominantly women, lost their lives, their land, whatever they had accrued, to the church or to someone in their community that wanted what they had, by simply heaving the word witch at them.
It happened here. Here.
Yeah. And in the studying of the history through Neil's story, and a lot of which I knew, and my mother's a walking encyclopedia when it comes to the history of the UK in general. She was Clan Buchanan. I got her a real tartan, the antique tartan, and the badge and the pin. Don't tell her. I know she's not watching the show. This is past her bedtime.
All right. Won't say a word.
Don't say a word, because it's for her birthday on August 24th. And so I'm really excited. I got her, oh my God, like 40 pounds of books, and oh my God, so many beautiful things to celebrate, because she can't travel. So I did that for her. I made that trip for her to her homeland. But, she comes from barbarians. Barbarians. And it's so, when I look at the history, Scott, and I think, look at what's going on between Russia and the Ukraine right now, and the torture and the atrocities that are taking place. How much have we evolved, really? Don't you think that's a legitimate question?
Yeah, it just repeats and repeats. There are madmen. There are crazy people everywhere. Flying planes into buildings. They find new ways to torture and maim and kill, but they're still doing it. And we do it in this country too. It's not just we don't call them witches anymore, but we call them other names. There are other people we don't like for one reason or another, whether it's immigrant or whatever. There's other people that we set aside as different from us, and
Having gone to the Ohio State Reformatory last May and seeing the conditions in which prisoners had to live and sometimes didn't survive, yes, I can say that cruelty has no boundaries, has no borders. It's just man's inhumanity to man. And it makes me wonder at what point we will evolve to the extent that we are literally incapable of hurting another living soul.
Yeah, I'm afraid that we're not going to see that, not in our lifetime. Something's got to change quickly for that to happen. It's nobody wants to do anything. It's just the world is a mess. It's all about power and greed and
Greed.
It's just terrible.
And power and greed are inextricably linked. It's almost like the more powerful, the more greedy.
The more you want.
And I don't see that changing. It would require a crisis of conscience from those that don't have one. So where do you go from there?
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, I just want to hang out with my para people, if that's okay.
Yeah, I think it's, because, we're in our little bubble. It's nice.
We're in our little bubble, and most of us are very spiritual, highly enlightened, ever evolving, embracing of our evolution, our spiritual ascension, open for more, ready to explore, to, our level of intellectual fascinations, pretty high up there. But I also think that it's important, and I know you agree with me, it's important to revisit the past. As the great poet George Santayana wrote, those who cannot remember the past are condemned to repeat it. And so that, for me, in a singular line, encompasses the entire study of history. Because we need to know our history so that we can write the next chapter in a more tranquil, peaceful, loving way, with the course of humanity's evolution, or we will cease to exist, and then the planet will be so much better off without us.
Right.
It will. And the animals on the verge of extinction will have an opportunity to repopulate, and then they can just enjoy Earth, because we don't deserve it. All we do is rape the land and the forests and pollute the oceans and the rivers, and completely, we just suck up all of its energy, all of its enthusiasm, all of its resources, all of its, what you tell me, whatever other species on planet Earth is capable of shaving off the tops of a mountain range. We can't rebuild those mountains.
We cannot.
We can't rebuild those mountains. They're not coming back.
Right.
And I don't know. I get discouraged sometimes, Scotty. I know we talked about that too while we were over there. It is discouraging.
I also feel like, though, there's more a movement towards enlightenment, though. I think there are more of us that are finding, I don't know if it's that this is our last life here on Earth, or I don't know what it is, but I feel like there are more people like us that seem to be popping up, or at least they're making themselves a little more visible, a little more aware. We're still in the minority, no question, but I think that it's, when we find that little bubble of people, though, that group, it's encouraging, it's heartening. There's some people doing some good things, and so hopefully that'll continue to grow. because
Okay, you be the optimist.
I'm going to try.
I have not given up all hope. I
Right.
haven't. But I do go through periods where, and it was very distressing for me, being over there. I feel a certain kinship with particularly these women who
Mhm.
suffered in ways that are literally unspeakable. Like I wouldn't repeat what I learned.
Right.
I wouldn't. I'll let somebody else tell those stories. I cannot let those words
No, it's
pass
that.
through my lips or through my heart or through my mind to communicate the kind of degradation, deprivation, suffering that occurred during that very prolonged period. Nor can I talk about the Crusades. Nor can I, I there are things that I can't even like verbally express
Right.
that I know because it hurts to talk about it. So, I'll let other people impart those messages. But I will tell you that while we were over there were times that I had to just walk away from a story or walk away from a place because the vibration of it was so low that I felt like I was being sucked into the base of a vortex of this spinning, like my head, I was lightheaded. I felt, and you at one point, you said the same thing. I believe it was you that said you felt like your equilibrium was off, or you felt
Yeah.
lightheaded, like your head was spinning, or
Like vertigo almost.
vertigo. Vertigo was the word you used.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I think it's not like anything we have here in the States, and I don't know if it's because everything's so old, but it just felt so strong.
Yeah.
Were you at the castle when I got pushed down? I didn't actually go down, but I got pushed and I lost my.
I heard that you were pushed. I wasn't in the
Yeah.
room when it happened.
We were in the main entryway and
Of Rosalind?
no, Aerith Castle, and Jay and the
Aerith.
group.
Okay. Yes. Yes.
Jay and the group from Dark Zone were getting ready, and they were going over there, getting all their cameras ready. And I was standing in the doorway, and it was like something got me right in the small of my back, and boom. And I never had that happen before, ever. I think it's just a much stronger energy there than we have. I mean, I suppose you can find it, but it's a very different place there. You would go into places and you could just feel it, like almost take your breath away.
Yeah.
It was so strong.
And a lot of times, that darkness had to do with sadomasochistic behaviors and, and basically, I mean, I don't know how many torture chambers we walked in and out of. That's what they were. They were torture chambers. And, I mean, still with all the stuff they used, I mean, it was just mind-boggling to me. I couldn't allow myself to envision that kind of suffering. It would have just torn me apart. So I had to establish certain emotional boundaries. Yeah. And I tried to focus more on the beauty of the architecture, the beauty of the tapestries, the artwork, the hand-hewn furniture and the hand-laid floors and, the incredible, paintings of the ceilings and the walls in relief. And, it let my mind wonder, how many years did it take to build this place? When we went to, what was the name of the castle that had the dog bridge?
Oh, I don't remember the name of the castle, but I do remember the bridge.
I couldn't go to the bridge.
It was awful. And if you...
I couldn't go to the bridge.
I could feel it. I was standing there and you could almost feel this energy, like you want to jump. I know that sounds crazy, but they had a dog jump just a month ago. I would never bring my dog near there.
Why would anybody, knowing the history of that bridge, try to walk their dog across that bridge?
It's crazy.
Hundreds of dogs have plunged to their death.
And they continue to. So I don't know why. I don't know why that happens. I don't know why anyone would get near them with their dog. And just,
They even have signs up
yeah.
not to bring your dog on the bridge. You risk your dog's demise. And they don't know why. Nobody has any idea why these dogs will literally rip themselves free from their master or mistress with their leash and just leap over that stone bridge to their death.
Yeah. It just incredible. So horrible.
Yeah, I couldn't go anywhere near that. I went in and took pictures of where they were having a proper tea.
Yeah, and that's where we should have had lunch instead of that fantastic chicken place we went to. Good Lord.
Yeah. We should have, in the tea room, we should have had lunch in the tea room.
Nice. That was nice. Yeah.
Well, I guess we have to go back.
We're going to have to go back. There's so much to see.
How many times did we drive past a castle and somebody said, "Oh, are we going to that one?" And it was like, "No, it's not on the list."
Not that one.
How many freaking castles do you people have?
Yeah. Right? They're everywhere. But I think you deserve to live in a castle. I think you should have a castle.
No, I would freeze to death. Oh, fuck no. Oh, my God. Think about, okay, no, Scott, go back to the last one that we were at. Belgary? Is that how it's pronounced?
Balgoni Castle.
Balgoni Castle. I had to go outside into 90 plus degrees to warm up. I had to get out of that chapel.
Oh my God.
To go outside to warm up. It had to be like 40 degrees in there.
It was ridiculous. And I don't know why. I don't know why it was so cold, but it was like a tomb.
Yeah, it was like a tomb.
It was like a tomb.
And that's where, while I was up with Rick McCullum, Kathleen Burns, Jay Blemke, and Christine, and a few other people, we were up in the Great Hall. And when I came back downstairs, a couple of people said, "We got EVPs in the chapel asking for you, asking, where's Annie? Annie's here. Where's Annie?"
You know what? I knew that. I remember that. I remember you saying that.
And it's like, so cool. That's so cool.
It's just,
and, interesting that they would call me Annie. Because that's what, because that's what Maria calls me. And, a lot of my friends do. I'm known as Annie to a lot of my friends. But normally when a spirit reaches out either to me or through me, I'm referred to in my proper name, Andrea. But not this time. Where's Annie? And I was the only Annie on the trip. I didn't have a duplicate.
It wasn't. No.
I know. It was so strange.
It's funny how these, again, you'll never understand why, It's amazing.
Scott, we would never be able to, even between the two of us, as verbose as we are, ever be able to describe in words the experience of Scotland.
No, that's what I said. We took all these pictures too, and you look at them and you think, yeah, that's nice. But if I can be blunt here, you sat in front of me on that bus and it sounded like you were having an orgasm driving through the Highlands. Oh God. Oh my God. Oh my God. It was like, what is going on in that front seat?
It was orgasmic.
It was, though. It was crazy. It was so beautiful.
It's so much better than sex.
Well, yeah, probably.
Do you remember? It's been a really long time for me, so I barely remember. But yeah, no, it was, and I'm sorry if I made anybody uncomfortable. I just was like absolutely awestruck.
You could not believe how beautiful it was. And there was nothing else around to give it any kind of scale. It was just the highway and waterfalls and mountains. And it's hard to fathom. It's just hard to fathom.
Loch Lomond blew my mind.
Loch Lomond.
But you know, when we were going through, and apparently there had been that very serious accident on the side of that very narrow two-way road, and I would never ever be able to drive over there. I would never be able to drive on the left-hand side of the road while driving on the right-hand side of the car and doing. I would never. But apparently, it looked like someone had stopped suddenly, like they were sightseers or something. You know, there was so much wildlife. Maybe something, you know, bounced across the highway in front of them. But that was a 3-car accident. Yeah. And people were being, you know, removed from cars and put on stretchers with neck braces. It was serious. And what I thought was so touching was that we all got very quiet, and I looked behind me and everybody was praying for them. You know, I said, let's, you know, keep these people in our thoughts and our prayers. And everybody was. The whole bus got quiet. You know, and mostly it was a pretty, you know, rip roar bus.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, we had all the boys were singing at the top of their lungs, and their mom, and, you know, what a great family, huh? Oh my God, wonderful people. I won't say names just in case they don't want to be identified for whatever reason, but
yeah, but it was great. It was fun. You know, and we had from, you know, I don't know how old they were, what, 20, maybe 19? Yeah, something like that, up to, you know, 60s, or I don't know how old.
Well, no, the boys were teenagers.
Were they? I think one of them was, right, at least, and one of them was in community college. So they probably were all teenagers, really. They probably like 18, 19. Yeah.
I mean, when they sang "Sweet Caroline," which is the song that we always sing, that's my mom's song, "Sweet Caroline."
Oh, nice.
Neil Diamond. And then Maria pulled up The Age of Aquarius, and I mean, they sounded so great. I was so emotional I couldn't even sing. I mean, I literally could not sing along because I'm just sitting in the front seat and the tears are just dripping down my face, and you know, I'm sitting there thinking, God Almighty, Ann, you are such a sap. I'm such an emotional creature, and yeah, I'll never forget those moments. I'll never forget that. But you know, and everybody at the top of their lungs at the refrain at the end singing "Let the sunshine in," and then the clouds parted, and there it was, and we had wonderful weather, absolutely wonderful weather while we were there.
The hottest it's been in 100 years. I packed jeans and fleece, and it was so warm. That last night, I don't think I got 10 minutes of sleep. It was awful.
I know, me either.
Not cool off. And we went out. Remember, we sat out. It wasn't bad outside, but that cool air wasn't coming into the.
No, it wasn't, because where we were, at least where I was on that side of the building, was a very, very narrow opening, kind of like an alley between that hotel and the next house. And so there was really no air circulating out there. But thank you for coming into my room and figuring out how to open my window. I mean, and they don't have screens. If something flies in, then something flies in. I mean, that's just that.
Yeah.
You know, there's no screens over there.
No, it's the craziest thing. But they don't get weather like that. They just don't get that kind of heat.
No, it was, that night. Well, I think mostly I was just more worried than anything. I mean, I knew I had a flight to catch, and it was early in the morning, and we had a taxi to catch, and that was that. And
do you know what happened to me? I haven't told you this. So we were on the same flight coming in, but not on the way home. I had to be at the at the cab at 2 a.m. to get home.
Heard your door close when you left.
Well, you don't know what happened. So I set my alarm for 1:10. I took a shower the night before. I'm all ready to go. Everything's packed. I finally dozed off, and I hear the phone buzzing. Bzz, bzz. And I'm like, why is my phone buzzing? It's Julie. The cab's here. I said, what do you mean the cab's here? My alarm was set for 1:10 p.m. Totally missed the whole thing. I got up out of that bed faster than I've ever did. I got dressed, zipped up the bag, got all the way downstairs. I said, "Oh my God, I left my phone in my room." Thank God you showed me how to unlock that door. I left the key in the room and I unlocked it so she could get in. I went in, grabbed the phone, and ran. That's how I started my day on Tuesday.
See, now it's my desire to avoid situations like that that kept me up most of the night.
Yeah.
Not just the heat in the room. It was just the anxiety of, oh my God, I've got to get back on a plane and reverse. And we were delayed. I'm so pissed. I'm going to write to Delta. They'll never read it. If they do, their hair will turn gray. Because I'm just so over it. I'm so over it. I travel too much to even, and traveling's never easy, but it has gotten progressively worse through the pandemic. And we paid them bajillions of dollars to keep these airlines up and running. And the thing that I resent is that they'll take your money in a heartbeat, but they won't offer the service that they promise anymore, and they don't care. I made my connecting flight out of JFK literally with 1 minute to spare before they closed the door.
God.
Because of delays, and they lied to us. And I got no use for liars. And they lied to us. They told us in Edinburgh that they were doing a deep clean on the jet before we could take off. And as we're landing, they're saying, we're really sorry about the delays in Edinburgh, and we know this is going to be, let the people that have connecting flights get off the plane first. And, we're having, a severe staffing shortage. Well, which is it? Is the staff on the plane cleaning it, or you didn't have people to make the flight and the pilot wasn't there yet? It can't be both.
It can't be both.
And then as soon as she said it, somebody went like behind her. You could hear it in the microphone, like, oh my God, she just accidentally told them the truth. Right. That they didn't have staff on the plane for us to take off. And, I'm sorry, but get it together, or, don't book the flights in the first place.
Don't book the flight if you don't have the people.
Because it's just not right. I mean, people's, this finally they feel like they can semi-safely get back out into the world after 2.5 years of, being sequestered in their homes, basically. And this is people's holidays that they've saved for, and that they've, paid out a boatload of money because the ticket prices are through the roof.
Right.
And then they can't get from point A to point B. Right. I was really, they said something about thank you for packing your patience. And, I just turned around. I said, get a bottle of Lysol. This one's patience is gone. If we don't load onto this plane, I am not making my flight to Orlando tonight. Let's go. And on the way coming, not only were we an hour late loading into the plane after moving us from this gate to that gate, then back to the
other
original gate, remember?
Oh,
and then 3.5 hours sitting on the plane because none of the restrooms worked.
Right.
I was.
And then they said, so sorry about the delay. We hope we can make it up to you on another Delta flight.
Fat chance.
Fat chance is right.
Yeah, but you don't know who to fly. I mean, if you can't trust Delta, who's left?
Who's gonna fly? I mean, it's terrible.
Southwest doesn't go. I fly Southwest as much as I can. They're not perfect, but they're good. But I get booked 4 flights a lot, and because of the Delta Sky Miles, which is quite liberal, a lot of promoters for different events fly me on Delta, and they keep the miles so that they can afford to do their next event and fly other people in. And I get that. And I don't want my miles. I don't want them. I'm not paying for the flights. So, let them have the miles that they paid for.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's getting to the point now where it's like it's point critical. Like something's got to give. And then on top of that, while we're over in the UK, they had a couple of different incidents at different airports where it was so hot that their railways buckled and their runways buckled. Like,
I mean-
you know, like frost heave. Remember, you know, frost heave from New England?
Oh, I live it every year.
Yes, we all grew up with frost heave. It was like going to Rocky Point for free. You know, you're just going down the road, and all of a sudden you're airborne. Yeah. Yep. I know it. Well, I can't believe it, Scott, but we only have like 10 minutes left to talk to each other. And so, I want people who have enjoyed our time together to know how they can reach out to you. What you do you do readings over the phone? Do you do them over Zoom? Can you do them? I know you do them in person. I know you are going to be working with me for different events at the farm.
Yeah, that'd be great.
You know, so I mean, I think that would be great for you to do gallery readings and stuff, but I also know that you work one-on-one. So I want you to, I know it's all attached to the link, you know, how to get in touch with you, but tell people too how to get in touch with you if they would like a reading, because it's literally, I know from personal experience, it's a life-altering thing. I saw how people were touched and changed and transformed by the reading that you did at Earth.
Thank you. Yeah. You know, so I have a website. It's scottallan.net. It's ALLAN. And you can book a reading right on there. Now, I do a lot by Zoom because I read for people in the UK and Hawaii and different places. I do very little locally, actually. So most of what I do is through Zoom, although I could meet someone if I had someone locally that wanted to, but Zoom works just as well. And you can book that on my website, scottallan.net. Also, I'm going to be at Wildwood Sanitarium in September. I forget the date. It's early in September. It's a benefit to raise money for the American Society for Suicide Prevention, which I love. And so I'm going to be there doing a gallery event there. And I will be at the Hawthorne Hotel in Salem, Mass. in November.
I love the Hawthorne. Isn't it great?
Hawthorne, yeah. I'm doing that with another medium. That's going to be a dual event. So we're going to be doing that. And that's also on my website. And what else? I don't know. Get me booked, Andrea. Can I come and hang out with you?
Yes, absolutely. I already told you that.
I know. I don't know what's coming up, but those are the things that I have planned right now. And I do readings. Oh, and then I have the Paranormal Project radio show. So I do this every week as well. And we talk to all kinds of people. I'm interviewing Dustin Perry this week coming up. And we just talked to Daniel Class from the Hinsdale House. And
I know Daniel very well. I know Dustin very well. Both of them are so wonderful. Dustin is a very deeply spiritual man.
Sure is.
I find him inspirational. And in many ways, you know, we impart the same message, you know, just slightly different. But for the most part, we're kind of, in our own way, kind of motivational speakers.
Yeah, that's what he does now, though. It's great. I mean, he still does the paranormal, but he's really into motivational speaking and very, very spiritual. So I'm really looking forward to that chat this week. So we've got some good people coming on, and that's the Paranormal Project radio show. We're on YouTube, and we're everywhere. You know, we're syndicated into, you know, like Google and Stitcher and all that kind of stuff. So anywhere you can get a podcast, you can listen to us. So that's
it's nice too, because now I get to introduce you to so many more people, because I went into syndication. I don't know how long ago, maybe as much as, maybe not quite a year, but Bill, who, you know, who's balls I was busting a little while ago because he's used to it. He is the general manager of KGRA, and it's, you know, in syndication worldwide. And so it goes out on Spotify, it goes out on iHeartRadio, it goes everywhere. And so not just on my YouTube channel, but you can pick up the link for the show on my YouTube channel, and then share it. And it's your show, so you can take the link and put it on your website or do whatever you want to do. With all that magical interweb things,
all that stuff. I'll put
that
it on
stuff. Yeah, that Google stuff. All that. I would carry his overnight audio on KGRA if he would like Cindy. Oh my God.
What does that mean?
You just got an offer to come onto KGRA. So I do believe you've impressed Mr. Bill Forte, the general manager of this awesome station. Yes. Okay. Well, talks amongst yourselves about this, because wouldn't that be great if he picks your show up? That would be fantastic.
That would be great.
Yes.
Email me.
He will email you. Yes, absolutely.
Thank you, Bill.
Well, my darling, I hope that you've enjoyed yourself, and I'm so sorry I had too much caffeine and I rather dominated the conversation a little more than usual.
It has been an absolute pleasure. And I love you. I'm so glad that we had this time together and our time in Scotland. And I'm going to see you in a few weeks, because you're going to, when are you coming home? When are you going to be at the farm again?
I will be up there. Oh, shit. I don't have my calendar. And
that.
But I think it's the second weekend of August is the Ocean State Paracon. Yeah. And we're going to make an effort to get over to the farm. I've invited Jacqueline to come as my personal guest to the Paracon and hang out with me at my table and help me in any conceivable way she could. It's so generous of me to invite Ms. Jacqueline Nunez to come, help me. But hey, that's one way to learn the ropes, so come hang out with me. And I'm going to do, I'm going to be floating around doing several things while I'm up there, but I'll be there for the meet and greet Friday night, and then all day long Saturday for the Paracon. And then we're hoping to be able to do something at the farm on Sunday for a few hours. And then I have a birthday party to go to. And then Monday I sleep in and then leave in the afternoon. So
busy.
It'll be a full weekend, but it'll be a lot of fun. And then right after that, 2 weeks later,
Michigan.
See you there for sure. St. Marie, see you in the Sioux.
Yeah, I will. I'll see you at the Ocean State, though. I'll probably that's so close. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's no excuse for you not to be there. Absolutely none
whatsoever. None whatsoever. So I'll be there. I'll see you both.
Yes. Oh, it will be absolutely wonderful. I'm so thrilled. Bill wants to bring you on to KGRA. That's fantastic.
Me too. That is great. I can't wait to chat with him. Thank you, Edie.
You're welcome. I told you. Thank you, sweetheart. 5 minutes. See, 5 minutes. He gives us 5 minutes. He is a wonderful man, and the station is great. I know the owners. I know Bill very well, and you'll get to meet him too. And also check your calendar. And I might as well just say it now. I had a brief back and forth with Jacqueline this morning, and she wants to do a Halloween spooktacular at the farm.
Nice.
And so Halloween weekend is Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Yeah. No, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Monday is Halloween.
Oh, okay.
And so it'll be a really great weekend, and I need to make a run up and see some of my witch friends. And Salem. So I'm not sure when I'm coming in exactly, but we're, going to come up. Hopefully Dad can come with me. And Bill wants to come. He wants to bring his mom. He's lives in upstate New York, so he can just drive his ass on down to the farm. And we can just have, oh my God, we could even do a live broadcast from there. We could do a live broadcast of a reading with you. There's any number of things we could do. All he's got to do is bring all of his accoutrement, his equipment. Yeah. So, great. Yeah, I'm going to be talking with Jackie tomorrow, Jacqueline.
Yeah,
Jacqueline in French, to, see what we can get into. And make it a really big event, make it a really special event. And I told her, I said, what I don't know what she wants to do. I haven't got anything set in stone yet. But I had suggested, still, because there's still a little bit of a child left in me. I always felt bad that Halloween was not something that was ever celebrated at the farm. Nobody ever came to the farm for Halloween when we lived there. It was far too remote and too spooky. And it had a reputation that preceded our arrival. Nobody bothered to tell us. And so that was, it was not something that was celebrated there. And I would love to see, what a lovely costume party would be, and bobbing for apples and cotton candy, and just turning it into a real event.
Yeah. What a breath of fresh air for that place. You know what I mean? Yeah. Breathe some new life into it. I think that's great.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, on that happy note, honey, I love you dearly. I thank you for joining me on the show tonight. I'll call you. Yeah. We'll make arrangements. We'll do stuff. We'll do stuff.
Yeah, we'll do stuff.
Yeah. And then we'll do more stuff.
More stuff. It'll be awesome. Thank you, my friend. Thank you so much.
Oh, it's truly my pleasure. And you are precious to me. And I can't wait to share you, to be able to share this show with a lot of people. Watch it in the archive because they watch all over the world. So like some people are watching it tomorrow morning on the other side of the planet in Australia and stuff like that. But a lot of people come and catch it after the fact. So you will be shared. And I hope that people from all over the world reach out to you, because you are truly special to me, and you are truly gifted. And anybody that has the privilege and pleasure to know you, their life will be enriched.
Thank you so much. Love you.
I love you. On that happy note, I want to say to everyone watching The World Awakening tonight, I hope your heart is as full of love as mine is. And always, always remember to be the light you seek. Good night.